Thanks for joining us for a special edition of Take Two as we're getting closer and closer to the November election. Here in the Utah CD4 race is Katrina Fallick Wang. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
So this is fun talking to the candidates and meeting them. I don't know a lot about you. I'm guessing a lot of voters are learning as well. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not surprised that you don't know a lot about me. I am not a politician. Running for CD4, U.S. House of Representatives, is actually my first political race.
All right, so you're jumping in head first.
I am jumping in head first. I decided to run because I wanted, personally for myself as a voter, I wanted more diverse candidates to vote for. And I was like, well, be the change. So so that is why I'm running. I am digital marketing is my day job, which I am doing full time while running for Congress. I call politics my side hustle. And I am a mom of 4, ranging in age from 32 to 11.
All right, so you're busy.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the issues, because I think that's what everyone really wants to know. Where do our candidates stand on the issues? And the biggest one right now we're looking at is the spending bill. And Congress really, when you look at it, has one really important job, and it's something that always gets pushed off till the end, where we get to continuing resolutions or fights where it leads to government shutdowns. It looks like they may have a deal right now that would get them through so there's no government shutdown. If you were in Congress right now, how would you be voting? Would you say, let's get this bill passed, wait till the new year with a continuing resolution, add the SAVE Act in? Where would you go?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is really, really critical that we don't allow the government to shut down. Not only do us as citizens rely on the government and on those services, but lots of Americans rely on those jobs for their paychecks. So it's very important, that we get that funded. And one of the things that I'm really running on is a campaign of getting rid of partisanship. I am about collaboration, and I think we need to set aside the fighting over this ideological difference or this ideological difference and focus on real important issues.
So how do you do that?
Budgets.
Because it's so easy to say when you're running, and then you get to Congress and everybody votes with their team, and then business continues as usual and gives us the mess that we're in.
Yeah, so I am not, I like to say this, I'm running as a Democrat, but that is because that gave me the best chance of getting elected. I do not have any problem with bucking party lines if that is what is best for Utahns. That is my primary focus, and just having my constituents' backs.
When you talk about constituents, when I go out and talk to my neighbors and family, one of the biggest things they're worried about right now is the economy. Are you hearing the same thing, or what's the biggest concern you're hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. The economy lately is huge. Also, housing prices. That is by far and away the main thing. Young people graduating college can't afford to buy houses here. Parents are upset that their children are graduating college and moving away to other states and taking their grandbabies with them. Yeah. That happened to me.
So what can Congress do about that to make a change?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I strongly support Vice President Harris's plan for tax credits for first-time home buyers. That's really important. The other thing is we need to incentivize building of single-family homes locally using local resources and local companies, and get those houses onto the market for families and stop corporate landlords and out-of-state interests from purchasing those homes. So do you
think the Utah legislature has gone about it the right way then? They've started to do some of those credits for first-time home buyers if they're buying in that median area. Is that the right way to do it?
I think so. I think it's a good first step. We have a lot further to go. And I think at this point we have to do it at the federal level. Utah is doing all that it can, but it is such a big problem. It's a big problem here in Utah. I think we felt it first here, but people are feeling it across the country.
Yeah.
So
when we talk about the subsidies, that means there's always more tax money. And when you look at the burgeoning debt, the question is Is this an issue that you'd be willing to get in more debt for to maybe help some of these families, or does that just create more of the economic problems that we're already dealing with if we're just adding more tax spending in?
So I really firmly believe that we have to pay attention to the debt and getting that paid down. It's going to require difficult cuts. It just is. Anyone who has balanced a budget for their family knows that when you're trying to get out of debt, you sometimes have to make hard decisions. But I strongly feel that when we're giving new families and young families the ability to start off on a strong foundation, that ultimately will be reflected in our economy through people buying homes, buying home goods, staying in Utah, working in Utah, and building up Utah's economy.
Speaking of making cuts that are hard to do, neither Republicans or Democrats ever want to talk about cutting Social Security or even fixing it when we're in the middle of an election cycle because it's not popular.
It is so not popular, and I understand that. I am Gen X, so I am from the generation that kind of grew up knowing that Social Security is probably not going to be around for me. And
it
just
could be, though,
accepting that.
if we change things, right?
It could be. I think there is. We have to stop with this all or nothing approach. Privatizing it and just washing our hands of it is not the right solution. I think with smart, strategic, possibly cuts, we can shore that program up and really have it serve us for the long term.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important. That's a promise that we made to our future generations, and it's important that we keep that.
Yeah, and if nothing's done in 10 years from now, we do know from the Congressional Budget Office that people who are getting those checks are probably going to get about a 25% cut. Do you see raising the age where people can start cashing those checks, or do we need to maybe cut what they're doing, tax it a little higher? How would you see fixing it?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think I would hesitate to raise those taxes because people that are depending on Social Security are, they're already having very, very tight budgets. I do think we could work on raising the age. People are living longer, our jobs are safer than ever, and so I think we can possibly look at raising that.
Another issue that as we're looking at changing and going into the future is, how do we balance energy? And we obviously have coal mining in Utah, we have clean energy. When the Biden administration came in, they put a stop in a lot of areas to some of the fracking that was going on or drilling. A lot of our counties, whether you're looking in the Four Corners, Duchesne, it's something that they depend on, it's their livelihood. What is the answer?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me this because this is something that I am really, really passionate about. I grew up someplace without electricity, so I know exactly how important energy is and how important those jobs and those plants are to small communities. I think the answer is not to remove those. We need those resources. They're very important. But we can add additional new sources of sustainable energy. We can build the supply that way and ultimately reduce rates for everyone in Utah.
Excellent. Another thing people are talking about, it comes up in every presidential election, but become maybe even a bigger issue right now, is securing the border and how do we do that? I think both sides agree that something needs to be done, but maybe not agree on what it is or who's done enough or what it is. What's the right answer? Did President Trump have it right and Biden undid it, or who has the right plan, or is there not a right plan on the table yet?
I don't feel like, I do, and I will strongly say, I think that President Trump's plan kind of put us in the situation that we are in now, where it has become a crisis. Unfortunately, now that it's a crisis, we can't just roll things back and go, oh, we're going to just do it the way we used to do it.
What part of Trump's plan created that crisis in your mind? Because I think a lot of people saw that when Biden came into office, when he removed some of those state of Mexico plans, so that's when the floodgates opened.
Yeah,
that's
exactly it. So if you think of it, like we put up these blockades and we had all these processes that were stacked up against them. We can't just open up those floodgates, that's the crisis that we're in right now, is we tried to just take those away, and that is not the answer. I think that the answer is developing a accessible, affordable, and efficient path to citizenship for families that are wanting to come to the US, immigrants who are wanting to come here and build businesses and go to school and be a part of our society and be a part of our economy. And if we can get that trucking along in a efficient manner, it's going to give us the resources to focus on those bad actors and keep them out, because we need those resources to focus on keeping the bad actors out.
Do you see that being done through executive order or through Congress? Because every time I see an executive order and a new president comes in, that's going to be undone.
Yes, absolutely. And for that reason, I would love to see it happen through Congress. I am not a fan of things being done by executive order. I don't feel like that reflects the will of the people. Sometimes that means that things take longer, and sometimes that means that things are more difficult. But when we take the time to make sure that we are all on the same page, that's the way we come up with the best solution and lasting solutions that we don't have to constantly redo and undo.
I think a lot of people would like to see Congress sit down and really hash out that deal. One other thing before we let you go, we can't get to everything, but I know another issue with spending that I think a lot of Americans are divided on, or maybe not as strongly in favor as they were maybe a few months ago. We're looking at some of the spending in Ukraine and also Israel, two different issues. Let's start with Ukraine. Do we keep funding the war that's going on there, or is there a time to pull back or more accountability? What's the answer?
Yeah, so this is a question that I'm just going to be honest, is a little bit of a tough one for me. I am not I'm not super well versed in global politics, but I do think that when we're spending Americans' money, we have to be very accountable with that. And it is great if we can help other countries and if we can help other people who are being oppressed. That is awesome. It's a very worthwhile thing to do. But we have to make sure that as a country, we are secure and stable, sort of the put on your own oxygen mask first.
Would the same go for Israel, or where are you on that? Because I know that especially in the Democratic Party, there's a divide over whether full support of Israel is the right thing to do or more help to Palestine.
This is probably maybe a little bit controversial, but I do not support full support of Israel. I feel that while they do have the right to defend themselves, it's gotten a little bit murky and they have overstepped. So I would not offer full unquestioning support of Israel.
I appreciate your honesty. Before we let you go, where can people find more about you, or do you have any meet and greets where people can find you before the election?
Yes, absolutely. So I have a meet and greet happening on the 21st, which is the day most people will be getting their ballots, so that's exciting. Meet and greet happening here at the Green Pig Pub at 6 p.m. So come down and see me. It's going to be so much fun. And you can go to my website, katrinaforcongress.us. And really, this is one of the things that I like to say. If somebody has a question, if you have something that is important to you, email me. My email is katrina@katrinaforcongress.us. And I respond to all of my emails. So.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll put this all online so people can dig into the issues and learn a little bit more about you. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.